All right. Well, today we ended up losing a total of what's 58. Hold on. 58 times 4, $232, which isn't bad at all. I mean, I don't know. We got stopped on one trade, then we ended up taking 75% of profit on one because we came into a 5 minute fair value gap, which I'll explain. And NASDAQ took out the 1 hour highs, and I'll explain my mistake on that trade. And then we ended up getting stopped at a break even, but price continued up. So here's the trade that Zach ended up taking. He's in the Discord. You guys can watch his YouTube. He took a really good trade on NASDAQ. When he took that trade, I entered on ES, and I'll go over that, which I shouldn't have. I should have entered where he did. But let's go over the first trade that I took. So this wasn't created yet. All right, so the first trade that I took, NASDAQ didn't come up and take out these 1 hour highs yet, so we're on the 5 minute time frame. And I thought we at least could come out and take out these 15 minute highs, which you see ended up happening. But we had originally this 5 minute fair value gap right here, as you guys could see. So I scaled down to the 1 minute time frame at this top 5 minute fair value gap, even though we had this 5 minute fair value gap below. That was a mistake I shouldn't have done. I think I rushed into the trade because, again, we had this big 5 minute fair value gap below. And we also had equilibrium we could retrace into, which I should have waited for. So we had equilibrium right here to here, which ended up happening. We ended up going down, retracing, and then continuing up. So just a mistake I made today, and we'll learn from it. But other than that, I saw that we reacted off the first 5 minute bullish fair value gap, and we had this bearish fair value gap right here. Right, we ended up inversing this 5 minute bearish fair value gap. I entered right off of the inverse, thinking that we were going to come up at least to these 15 minute highs. This was a 15 minute order block, and then this was a 15 minute fair value gap. I was going to target the 50% level of it, but again, I put my stops below these lows. Ended up getting stopped out, losing around $86 on this trade. Again, I went into normal size, 3 micros, and again, we're still up on the week, even with that loss. But then other than that, I scaled down back to the 5 minute, and I'm X'd out this 5 minute fair value gap, and I marked out equilibrium on both indexes. So we had equilibrium from these lows to these highs. And as you can see, price wanted to come back down, retracing equilibrium. And NASDAQ still didn't take out these hourly highs yet. So NASDAQ wanted to come back down, retracing equilibrium. And this would have been a great entry. This is where Zach entered. We ended up coming into equilibrium and 5 minute fair value gap. We broke structure to the upside. This would have been a good entry right here. Stop below these lows if you wanted it to be, and then targeted the 1 hour highs for your first take profit, and then second TP for those 4 hour highs. But again, we didn't have a 5 minute fair value gap here to stop us from anything to continue up. That's why I should have taken this trade on NASDAQ. But instead, I decided to scale down to the 1 minute time frame on ES, and I saw a little bit more confluences. But again, we had that 5 minute fair value gap here, this bearish fair value gap that I should have respected more. I just thought we were going to run through it. 5 minute, hold on. We had this 5 minute bearish fair value gap right here, and yeah, we ended up retracing off of it. So what I did is we had a 1 minute fair value gap here. We ended up getting an inverse fair value gap and a break of structure to the upside. This was my entry right here. I put my stops below these lows at first, and then my first take profit was the top of this 5 minute fair value gap, and when NASDAQ came up and took out these 1 hour highs. So once NASDAQ took out those 1 hour highs, I took my profit. That was still a 1-to-1 basically. I took 75% off, and then I wanted to at least let runners run, or one runner run to that 15 minute high, because that would have been a 1 to 3.5. But once we hit that 5 minute fair value gap, I didn't have the balls to hold the trade. I put my stop loss to break even. We got stopped out at break even. Price wanted to come back down and retrace off that 5 minute fair value gap, which it did, and then it ended up continuing up, hitting where we wanted our take profit to be. But again, we could have left our stop loss below these lows or below where the 5 minute fair value gap goes. That probably would have been a good spot. But again, we already took one loss today. I was trying to preserve my capital. So once we hit first TP, I decided to put my stops to break even because, again, we reached 1 hour highs on NASDAQ. That could have been a potential reversal spot. And we were also in this 5 minute fair value gap, so I just wanted us to push through it and disrespect it. But that didn't happen. We ended up retracing down, stopped out at break even. We made around 25 to 30 bucks on that trade. and ended up losing around $58 per account today. So again, here's second TP with a hit. Snapper. That sucks. But again, overall bias was correct. Just entries weren't good. It's something I'm going to learn. I'm going to write it down and go through it. I think I should have taken the trade off NASDAQ and been a little bit more patient for a retracement. And something you guys could learn too, what I'm going to start doing is, again, if we have 2 5-minute fair value gaps and we have one below, let's say like we did today, I'm no longer just going to take a trade off of the first 5-minute fair value gap, as you can see. If we have a 5-minute fair value gap below, I mostly want to see price retrace into the bottom fair value gap, because again, if we respect this first one, we still have the chance to come down and respect the second one, especially if we have equilibrium from these lows. These lows to these highs, like equilibrium was perfectly in line. I mean, you could have put it from these highs probably. Equilibrium was perfectly in line with this 50% level, this 5-minute fair value gap. So I should have expected price to come back down, retrace into that, then taken my trade. If it was just the first trade I would have taken, I probably would have put my stop loss below these lows and then just let the trade ride out. Maybe first TP here, second TP, third TP, or fourth TP. But again, we could say what we want. Now we see what price went in hindsight, so it is what it is. So overall, I mean, I guess you could count today as 1 win, 1 loss, I would guess, or half a win maybe. 1 loss, half a win. I don't know, but that means we're technically 3 for 1 on the week. We're still up on the week on these accounts and a good amount of profit. We only lost $58 per account today. But again, we made a couple mistakes today that we're going to fix. It's part of the game. We keep learning and we keep growing from there. So other than that, hopefully you guys learn a little bit from this video. I know I'm going to learn a little bit from this video. Again, made a couple mistakes, part of the game, and we just keep pushing forward. So again, appreciate it. Appreciate everybody's like and subscribe, and let's keep just getting better every single day. Thank you.